So today I'm talking about the spiritual nature of love. And I'll tell you where that came from. A few weeks ago, we were having lunch at one of our favorite restaurants, and it's in Pass Christian, and it's the Asian restaurant there, Asian Paradise. We got to the end of our meal, and I read my fortune cookie, and I just couldn't believe it. It said, "Love in its essence is spiritual fire." I just couldn't believe it, because I thought, wow, of all the people that needed to read that, that was me. And so, of course, I saved it, and I still have it, and I keep it in my phone case. And I knew that I was going to use it because, of course, during the Christmas season, love is one of the topics that we speak of. But this has a much, much, much deeper history than just my fortune cookie, although that was great and astounding. It was vaguely familiar to me, and when I got home, I looked it up, and it's a quote that was from long before the, it was the time of the Romans when they were in rule, and Seneca was one of the people there that wrote, and he said, "Love is the essence. In its essence is spiritual fire." And of course, what this encapsulates is the idea that love is not merely a fleeting emotion, the way we want to think of it sometimes. There's several different types of love. We know that agape is usually the type of love that we have one name for love in our language, but in other languages there are several names for love. And agape love is usually what we're talking about when we're talking about the love from the Creator, the source. And of course, we all know about eros, and that is romantic love. But romantic love too becomes something deeper, doesn't it? After a time when the hormones wear off and you don't have that quick spark of emotion that comes with first being in love with someone, you find something much, much deeper. And it's grounded in that love that we're speaking of today. And I want to talk about it a little bit further because it really is, in its essence, love is spiritual fire. When I was learning about unity teachings and in my studies to become a unity minister, one of the surprises that I read from Charles Fillmore's teachings was the meaning of love. And if you know much about Charles Fillmore, you know that he wrote 12 Powers. He was one of the co-founders of Unity in the early 1900s. And this was at a time there was a new thought movement, and there were a lot of new thinkers that were presenting new ideas. And as we know, each of these people, they've come at a time where their language and their teachings were meant to inspire and make a difference with their contemporaries, the people of that time. Therefore, when we'll read some of the readings from 2,000 years ago, it may seem a little stilted to us, and it's why we need to go within and find what is the meaning of this. And we can. And then there are teachers that we know extremely well today that are on the forefront of spiritual teaching. There's, of course, those that we know of, Wayne Dyer, Alan Cohan, Marianne Williamson. The list goes on and on and on and on. And many of them consider themselves spiritual but not religious. And that's pretty much what we are here too. We hope that everyone feels welcome, and you are free to bring your own beliefs with you. And we don't tell you any are wrong, because in truth, they all have one component, and that is that they're all teaching how to go to the heart and find God. And sometimes the teachings themselves are where they get a little bit out of whack. But anyway, what I'm teaching or talking about today is love, in its essence is spiritual fire. And this is what many, many teachers have come to say. Charles Fillmore said in his writings, in the 12 powers, and one of the powers is love. And if he wrote the 12 powers again today, I think he would, instead of calling them the 12 powers, he would call it the 12 faculties. And many of you know, we've talked about them several times here: faith, strength, imagination, zeal, enthusiasm. One of them is love. When he described love, he described it as an energy that will radiate from you to take you to what you love. And I just loved the way he described it. It was different than anything I had seen before, and it was really compelling. And I still love his description of love today. And it really is a calling forth of a fire radiating within you that will take you toward those imaginations that you have. And this quote, love in its essence is spiritual fire, that was written almost 2,000 years ago by a Roman scholar. It's a force that can ignite and transform on a deeper level. It's the divine spark that propels me forward to my highest good. Here's another way it works. It's a gift we activate within ourselves. When we give love, we actually receive love. Did you know that? When you're giving love to someone else or to the world, you're actually bringing love right back to you. We receive love in that very moment, because to love means we are expressing it. When we express it, we feel it. And we've talked about it so many times here, how even to pray, we'll say, go into your heart space, feel your heart center right here. Place one hand over the other. Think of someone you love, something you love. Incredibly powerful. And in that moment, you will feel that love radiating throughout your body. It will actually heal you if you will use it enough. This feeling of love radiating within can heal you. It is the ultimate force in the universe. It is God. It is the Creator. It is the creative force. It's an inexhaustible stream of divine love. It pours through me, blessing others and myself. Many teachers have spoken about love. All of them have, as a matter of fact. The great spiritual teachers. Henry Drummond was a minister, lived probably 200 years ago. He spoke of love. And we must remember, as I said earlier, that just as Charles Fillmore did to address the needs of that time, that's how they wrote. They wrote to address the needs of the time. So we must unpack their deepest meaning in order to apply them today. And this is true of all wisdom teachings, all of them. We must first look at what they were trying to address at the time. It's why Jesus spoke in the language he did. Love one another. It was the simplest form that he could convey what he came to teach. And that is that God is love, the universal energy is love, the Creator is love, the creative force is love. We are all love. Love one another, he said. It was the one commandment that he gave us. Love one another. And remember who he was talking to at the time. There were divisions of every type. And it seems like you could say that about any time in history, couldn't you? Even today. Love one another. And I suppose that's what, and we know the Apostle Paul, and the beautiful writings from Corinthians. Paul spoke eloquently about love. He said, if I speak in the tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, I'm a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. I love that. I love his writings, but especially those in Corinthians. In other words, no matter what I say, now listen to this, no matter what I say, unless it resonates through the channel of love, it's just noise. It's meaningless. Those words still resonate with us today. If I'm speaking just so that I will be exalted and people will think more of me, that's just noise. If I'm speaking from my heart and I truly, truly radiate love every place I go and through everyone I meet, then I'm doing what I was called to do. We're all messengers here. Did you know? All these people I've mentioned this morning, they were only messengers here, or they were truly messengers here, and so are you. I just hope that as you carry out this week, this day, this life, that you will remember to align with